All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to another episode of We Create Music TV. I am your host, Vaughan, and tonight, man, we got an amazing guest, international singer-songwriter, Matt B.
Devon, what's up, man?
Brother, welcome to the show, my dude. How are you?
Man, I'm so excited to be here, man. I'm doing really good. Thank you for having me, man. I
Man,
appreciate it.
man, no doubt, brother. I'm glad that you are here as well because we got a lot to talk about.
And it's been a long time coming to
I
get this
know,
interview popping, right?
man, I know.
Long time coming. We supposed to do
Long
this,
time
what, like a
coming.
year or two ago, right? But
Long time
all
coming,
good
brother.
things come to those who wait.
That's right. That's right. So, man, let's jump right into it, brother. So, if you wouldn't mind just starting us off, just talk about how you got started in this whole music thing. Walk us through your musical journey.
Ooh. Well, I started in a group and I started as a shorty. So I've been doing this for a really long time. And initially, I was just singing with my brothers and all that. We realized like really early on that we could blow because people were like, oh man, y'all little niggas
Mm-hmm.
could sing y'all little asses out. Like, you feel me? So then from there, we went ahead, we started a group. We were in a group in high school. I think a lot of people do that, right? But I mean, it was really unique for us because we were brothers. So it was the
Mm.
three of us, and we were like really influenced by like Boys to Men and groups like those. So I mean, because they had like the 3 and 4 part harmony and all that. So that's what we were really influenced by. Then I went solo, and I've been solo ever since. And I've just been just working hard, dropping albums, dropping singles, and just doing my thing on an international level and here in the States.
Yeah, man. Yes, that's dope that you got started in a group. I didn't know that. But yeah,
Yeah, man.
man. I think most of us, who quote unquote, in my case, claim to be a singer, once in a while. We kind of got our start in high school, probably in chorus, joining groups and stuff like that. But that's dope that it was you and your brothers though who formed the group, and you figured out like, hey, like we can really do this.
Right, you feel me? Right, 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 right,
Yeah,
right. And
that's
just
right.
killing everybody with the vocals, man. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah.
definitely was an experience. And then from there, like I said, I just started doing my solo thing, but that heavily influences my music even to this day, because like I rock with like really putting a lot of harmonies and layers and stuff
Mm,
like that into my music, and that comes from being in a group. And I feel like as a singer, when you have like that group experience, it kind of
mm-hmm.
brings your music to the next level because you're thinking outside of the box. You're not just thinking about build out all the vocals around it.
Mm. Okay. You don't mind me asking? I mean, what made you decide to go solo?
Ah, a lot of things. A lot of things. You want to know what? When I was in the group, I was always singing backs. Like
Mm.
I wasn't really singing that many leads,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because I'm the youngest. So because of that, my brothers were fighting over who was gonna sing lead and who
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. And then like when you're younger, there's a lot of competition. Not necessarily for me, but like between my older siblings, they were bumping heads a lot. And then from
Mm.
there, we grew up and people like we just started doing our own thing. But like for me, like the music was still calling me, and I was like, you want to know what? Like this is my time. I need to go ahead and do my own thing. I went solo, and I never looked back.
Hey, that's what's up, brother. Yeah, wow. I mean, I can speak from experience of being in a group myself. Several groups, I guess. But yeah, yeah, that does kind of
That's
put
a
you in a
typical story.
situation. Yeah, it does kind of put you in a situation where you're like, dang, I ain't really singing leads. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want to sing some leads, and you figure out like either I'm gonna sing leads or I'm gonna go, like Flash.
Now,
You know what
hey,
I'm
hey,
saying?
don't get me wrong though. Don't get me wrong though. Like I wasn't even tripping over not singing the leads because like I was with my brothers. Like you feel me? So like, and I was a lot younger,
That's right.
so it wasn't one of
Mm-hmm.
those situations where I was really fighting.
All right, Matt B will be back here in just a moment. So we're gonna continue the conversation with him in just a second. Okay, let's see if I can get him back in this interview. So give us a moment. But in the meantime, I mean, I don't know how many of y'all have been in a singing group that can kind of relate back to that, but man, I know that's the thing, being in a singing group. All right, cool, you're back,
My
brother.
bad,
Nah, that's all good.
technical but we back. We back.
Look, that's all good. Like I was talking to the audience, like I don't know if y'all ever been in a singing group though and can relate, but most definitely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But like I said, I wasn't tripping over anything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's true what they say, like, especially as the youngest, like you really learn from your older siblings, and then from there, like you're taking the best of everything and just like pulling it into like your craft or whatever. And I
Mm-hmm.
think like even when you think about great people over the years, whether it be musicians or anybody else, typically like the youngest is the one who like takes everything that the older siblings did and they just bring that to the next level and through the
Oh yeah.
stratosphere. So I got that gene in me, and that's what I'm doing now. You feel me?
Yeah. Hey, look, trust me, I do. I see all the hard work you be putting in. So yes,
For
sir.
sure.
Yes, sir. So man, let's talk about how did you get signed to StarBase Records Japan?
So that's crazy, bro. Like I was uploading my music to YouTube. Initially, I had recorded just a bunch of songs, and I was recording it in my girlfriend's closet at the time because I didn't have a studio that I was working out of, but I did
Mm-hmm.
have my own equipment. So that's how I was recording just the music. Then from there, I uploaded it on YouTube. It sat there for maybe like about a year or so, and then from there, Starbase just randomly reached out, just straight random, and was like, "Man, we love these songs right here that you have up on YouTube right now, and we want these 14 tracks to be your first album if you'll sign with us." So, I'm
Wow.
thinking like it's like some straight fugazi, dummy, like y'all gonna take my music and run type shit. But you wanna know what? Like I put some prayers up to the Most High. I felt it in my spirit that that was the right move to make, and I signed with them, and the rest is history, man. Like they did right by me. The album went crazy. It was
Mm-hmm.
distributed in over 1,400 stores in Japan. So it was physical distribution as well as digital. It went number one on iTunes Japan for R&B. I think I sold like over 40 or 50,000
Wow.
units out there, and that was just in that year,
Yeah.
2014 ish,
Yeah.
pushing it. So it's so way more at this point, but I mean, it was just a blessing, man, a huge blessing.
Man, that's what's up, dude. I mean, like, I guess straight out the gate, you're putting in the work that needs to be done, and I think that's a lesson. I think that's a lesson right there that you never know who's watching what you do. So, being consistent and ensuring that you upload music on a consistent basis and that you put in your best work out because people are watching. You know what I'm saying? So in this case, Starbase was like, hey, we see
Facts.
you. Yep.
Right, facts. And then from there, like 2 years later, I dropped my second album, and that also went number one. And I still haven't been out there yet, so I need, so I need to go out there and tour, man. And I meant to
Oh,
do it
yeah.
this year. I meant to do it
Okay.
this year, but it didn't happen because of COVID. But
I know.
I mean, things happen for a reason because in the midst of that, I found out that somebody had taken my records from Japan and they uploaded them onto a distributor into a DSP in China, and
Wow.
I ended up with like 156 million streams on one record in China. Then from there, and
Wow.
that's just one song. So I'm already knowing, like, now I know that I'm not just gonna tour Japan, I'm gonna tour China as well, because now
Yeah.
I know that I'm going crazy out there too. So I mean, that's a
Mm-hmm.
blessing in disguise. It just extends the length of my tour.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny because I think people try so hard to make it here in America, right? They're like, man, if I can make it in America, then I can make it anywhere. But in your instance, and kind of like some other groups that are out there, they kind of did a reverse route, right? So when you think about groups like NSYNC did that. They didn't blow up
Facts.
in America. They went straight over to Europe and
Yeah.
they blew the heck
And
up over
Gaga,
there.
Lady
Yeah, and
Gaga,
Lady Gaga,
she did the same thing.
um, not Blackstreet, Backstreet
Backstreet
Boys.
Boys. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so crazy because the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were managed by the same person. They just didn't know it. But
Swear.
oh yeah, what was that? What was the
I didn't
boy's
know they
name?
did. I knew they were managed by the same person. I didn't know they didn't
Yes,
know.
they didn't know. Oh yeah. Oh man. There's a book called The Song Machine where they talk about it, and they talk in that book. They talk about how I think his name is Ron Perlman, how he founded NSYNC, and then he and his group NSYNC was, of course, hugely successful. And then he said, you know what? Somebody's going to figure out what we did and is going to try to copy what we did and make another boy band as successful as NSYNC. So instead of somebody else doing it, why don't we do it? And he hired
Oh
this
man, that's
boy.
smart.
This boy hired a completely different management team, marketing, PR team, and formed Backstreet Boys. And it was him as the manager, but overseeing two different groups. And they didn't know it until something ended up happening, and one of them, and like the groups end up meeting each other, something like that. But for the longest time, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC didn't know they were managed by the same person. They
That's
had
crazy.
no clue. No clue.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, that was super crazy. But the point is that you got your start, you know, in a I guess in a non-traditional way. When most people try to break into, you know, American market, you took it a different route, and it was hugely successful for you in doing that.
Most definitely, most definitely. And I learned a lot because, I mean, you know, I was in a situation where I had to do everything.
Mm.
So I was writing the records, I was recording the records, I was putting rough mixes on the records, but then I had my guy come in and like fine tune them. I was making sure that the music videos were shot. So I bought my own DSLR camera and I was shooting music. I was shooting videos on DSLRs when niggas didn't know what DSLRs were. So like, you feel me? Like, think about that. Think about that.
Heck yeah.
So I was shooting my music videos on DSLRs. I was just doing it all, man. Like doing all the liner notes inside of the album, all the rest of that stuff, setting up the photo shoots and all that. So like, I basically was a one-man show operating as a label, but it taught me a lot.
So forgive us. You know, we've been having some technical difficulties, as Matt said in the very beginning, get into this interview. But we're gonna keep it rolling though. But I love the point that he's making here about he was the person doing the whole thing by himself. So that's a lesson for all of us. All right, bet. Hey, once again, I was just talking to the, and I was telling people, I said that's a lesson. I said people, you know, sometimes you got to learn how to do stuff yourself.
Most definitely, most definitely. So, you know, like for me, like being a jack of all trades and being able to figure those things out was really important to me, and it's helped me along the way because now can't nobody really play me. Like, you feel me? I know
Mm-hmm.
this stuff. Like, I know Photoshop, I know Final Cut Pro, I know Illustrator, I know all these different programs that you need in order to bring what you got to the next level. Like, I'll give you an
Mm-hmm.
example. So you know that thing for magazine and all the rest of that shit was super dope. But what people
Mm-hmm.
didn't know is that my wifey took the picture. So I had like my shorties.
See?
I had like my shorties like holding the bounce board outside while she's taking the photos because, you know, we quarantined and stuff, right? So
Yep.
we said and then from there, like, she's the one who's going into Photoshop and doing the edits, and then from there we're going into Illustrator to format it in magazine format based off
Mm.
of what Billboard sent us, and then from
Mm-hmm.
there we're sending it in for them to run. Who could do that? Like, you feel me? Like, who could
That's
do that? You
right.
got to hire like 4, 5, 10, maybe 15 people to get something
Mm-hmm.
like that done. But the fact that we can keep everything in house like that, like, there's so much power in that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think people need to understand that there's so much power in being able to do stuff like that yourself. And even if you don't want to do it yourself, just to have the ability of knowing that you can, it's just, it goes such a long way, bro.
Oh man, it goes such a long way to be self-reliant, right? And in a situation where you don't need somebody, you still have the ability to do it yourself, you know. But if you have the ability to hire somebody, you know, that's cool. If you don't, and you know how to do it yourself and you're willing to learn, that's cool too. Trust me, I've learned all this by myself, all of it. Like, for real, how to do the whole live streaming video setup, how to edit video in Adobe Premiere, how to do everything, how to do multicam editing. Brother, I had to learn and do everything myself. But it goes back to what you said. People need to learn how to be able to do those things in situations where they may not be able to find somebody that can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, who's doing that? Who's doing that at that level today?
Not very
Yeah.
many people.
Not many.
Not very many.
Not very many that can do it on their own
Hey,
because. Yeah, yeah, go
But
ahead.
check this out, Vaughan. The fact that you doing it though, and the fact that like you understand that is why here in quarantine you could do what you doing, but
Mm-hmm.
can't nobody else do it. Like you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like super clean, super professional, super put together. And I think people need to understand that, especially when it comes to this music shit. Like
Right.
you have, or entertainment in general. Anybody who is in entertainment, anybody who wants to be in any type of facet of entertainment, whether it be media, whether it be as a recording artist, as a videographer, you have to be able to do this stuff yourself. Because if you aren't, and if you don't know all aspects of your industry, then either you're gonna get played or you're never gonna make it nowhere. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, as you grow as a person, as an artist, as a creative, then you start bringing more people in. But you bringing those people in to fill roles that you can no longer do,
That's
versus
right.
filling a role that where you just need that person, and without them you would
Mm-hmm.
sink. It's like, bro, I'm paying you because I just can't do it right now. But don't get
Right.
this shit twisted, bro. Because if you start tweaking and screwing up and all that, you will get your dumb ass fired, and I will take over. Like, you feel me?
That's
So,
right.
so it's like having that option. It's just it keeps people on their toes. It keeps your team on their toes. It gives
Mm-hmm.
you a greater understanding. So that way, when people try and hit you with the okey doke, you already know, like you're not falling for that.
That's
Like, you
right.
feel me?
Yep.
So
Yeah, I'm true. Look, trust me, I know. For those of y'all who don't know and may not be doing it yourselves, you need to at least figure out how that stuff that you need to do works. I had a guy on the show. This is when pre-COVID, right? When we used to do face to face. By the name of West Tune. He was the road manager for DMX and the road manager for Jadakiss, and he owns a horse. I don't want to call it a horse farm, but I don't even know if that's a thing, a horse farm. But he has a lot of horses.
I think
You
it
know what I'm
is.
saying?
I think it is.
You know, like all I know. My man he got horses. He rides horses. You know, and he was talking about a situation where he was learning how to shoe a horse, right? And he was paying a guy to shoe the horse, but he was watching what he was doing, not so that
Mm,
not just so that he
mm,
could, oh, I'm gonna just take over, don't need you no more, but learning so that if it ever became a situation where he needed to fill that gap, he had the ability to do that, and he learned it to a point where he was like,
mm-hmm.
you know what, I can do it on my own. I don't really need that guy anymore to do it because now I can bring it all in house, right? And I think that's a situation, and everybody may not be to do that, right? You may not be able to, you may not have the time, the energy, the financial backing or whatever it is to kind of pull that stuff off. But if you can figure out how to do it yourself, yeah, because you know how you want it.
Facts, facts. And I'll add to that and say, like, sometimes some of the best and most creative things that you come up with is because you ain't got no bread. Like, if you had money,
I ain't got no
like
bread.
like, you feel me? Like, if you had bread, like long bread, I'm talking like Kanye bread, like like you wouldn't be as creative. Like, and no one
Mm-hmm.
would be that creative because it doesn't force that person out of the box. Like, you feel me?
Right.
But like
Mm-hmm.
not having that long money, or not willing to spend that money because you want to spend it in other spots, is gonna force you to be more creative, especially when like, for me, I know I speak from experience. When I was like just struggling as an up and coming artist before I really got my foot in the door, where I was
Mm-hmm.
getting some real revenue from my albums or from my singles and all that. Like, I had to find ways of being creative. I didn't create or build a studio. Like, I didn't buy studio equipment because I just really wanted to learn how to use Pro
Right.
Tools. I bought studio equipment because I'm looking like, bro, I ain't paying no $60, $100 an hour and I'm doing the math in my head. Like, bro, if I spend an X amount of hours in here, I'm gonna draw 3 racks. For 3 racks,
Mm-hmm.
I could buy a laptop, an audio interface, and a microphone,
Mm-hmm.
and I could be on my way. Like, you feel
That's
me?
right.
So like, it just forces anybody out of their comfort zone, especially if you're a creative. And for me, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like my biggest talent isn't necessarily the fact that I can sing, but my biggest talent is the fact that I will be able to figure out or be able to put my mind to anything and get it done because I'm a quick study and I learn
Right.
fast. And that to me is like my biggest talent. And it has helped me along the way. And it just continues to. And even in these quarantine times, like, I even go back to my my EP No Days Off.
Mm-hmm.
which is an EP that Mark Byrd produced along with God Level Productions. So shout
Mark
out Byrd.
Byrd. Mark Byrd.
Right. That's my guy right there, man. Shout out God Level Productions. And
God level.
like we did that EP, bro. No lie. Like I was on tour last year and I just come back from Denver, and I didn't know that in Denver, because it was at such a high elevation, that you could get something called mounter's cough or something like
Oh
that,
wow.
where when the air is too thin,
Mm-hmm.
you just start coughing. And I just started coughing. I didn't know why. Then I lost my voice. I couldn't talk for maybe like about a week.
Dang.
And so I had to take like medication to be able to expedite that. It was like a steroid that I had to take to expedite that. So I was talking like this for like a week. Bro, and that's when I recorded that album. That's when I recorded that No Days Off EP. Yes. I wrote that. Look, Bird, no lie. Bird came to Chicago with Charity. Shout out Charity.
Shout out Charity.
And then I had my co-writer Shells. He was in the building as well as my wife / manager, Angela, and then my sound engineer. His name is Aiden. So it was us. We were all inside the studio in Chicago, and we were writing and everything like that, and just creating everything on the spot. But I couldn't really sing because I couldn't talk. So so my co-writer Shell, he was laying down all the roughs, and then Bird was like, "Nigga, I hope to God that you get your voice back before we done with these sessions." Now, it just so happens that literally the last 2 days of us being in the studio, I had just enough voice to be able to sing all those records. So if that ain't now keep in mind, bro. Now look at where I am now.
That's right.
So now you know what's going on with that project. We submitted it. It's Grammy considered. We don't know whether or not I'm going to be nominated until like
November 4th.
Yeah. Well, November. I think it's November 24th.
24th. Yeah, it's 24th.
Yeah. So I won't know whether or not I grab the nominations, but I believe in God. I believe that all things happen for a reason. I believe that I have those nominations in the bag. So we gonna see what happens. All praises be to the Most High. You feel me? So, yeah. But at the end of the day, it just goes to show like you never know where these things will lead. And imagine if I was just like a prima donna artist, and I was like, oh no, I can't. I can't sing. We gonna have to wait 3 months before I could do this. I gotta rest my like, you feel me? Like sometimes you just gotta push through it, because at the end of the day, when you do, you never know what's gonna come of it.
Right. Now you good. I heard that, but you good. I mean, you never know what's gonna come of it.
I thought I was breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You never know what's gonna come of it. That was a question I had on here, was to talk about the No Days Off EP, but it's kind of good to hear the background about how that whole thing came about, but just the work ethic still. Like you can't talk, and you still
you feel
cranking out stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's like Kanye level right there, though. Like you get a car accident, your mouth wired shut, and you come out with one of the songs.
You feel right?
But honestly, I mean, but people would say, you know what, I can't talk. I need to take I need to wait till I get my voice back when I'm at my premier peak in order to really do this. And I think that's when people miss opportunities instead of just kind of struggling through things and fighting through some of those things, because through some of those struggles, some of your best work may come out of it.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep. But yeah, look, I had logged into Grammy Pro about 2 hours ago. I was like, let me see when they're really supposed to announce when these Grammys are going to be awarded. And I did. Yeah, you're right. It's on the 24th. But yeah, man, like being part of the Grammys. You're
a member too, right?
Yep.
That's dope.
I joined in 2016, 2017, something like that.
Okay.
When I was in
St.
Louis.
That was around the same time I joined. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, you were in St. Is that where you got your? That's where you applied, or who did it?
Yeah, that's when I applied, was when I was in St. Louis. We had our local chapter guy, Reed Wick. Shout out to Reed Wick. He's a voting member. I'm not a voting member yet, but it's coming though. But
hey, you gotta manifest that.
I know. I need to be a voting member because I need to be like, yep, click. And man, I ain't look. I got my own spiel about the whole Grammy thing because I submitted. So I came out with an album in 2017, and when I found out you had the chance to, I met the criteria to submit it to the Grammys for consideration. Oh, brother, I was on
Ah.
it, man. I was on that thing. I had to figure out how to get the linear notes, how to I had to figure out how to do all that. But that's a question I have for you anyway, is to talk about the process you've experienced when submitting your album to for Grammy consideration. What was that like? What was that process like to do that?
Well, first of all, let me start off by saying I didn't even know until like my wifey slash manager told me that that was even a possibility. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're thinking inside like the No Days Off EP was created because it was meant as a placeholder because we were still working on the album. So that was something that we did. Like, you wanna know what? It's 2019. The album has isn't gonna drop this year, but we need to continue to make music, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
we gotta drop some more records. So we did that project. Now it just so happens that we found out like this is eligible for consideration. We can submit for it. So we like bet, and in the mix of all of that, we were already trying to upgrade my membership to become a voting member. So it
Mm.
just so happened that when we submitted and she did like we did the liner notes and then we did all the rest of that stuff, which I mean I'm sure like
Mm-hmm.
that could be a bear. That's like it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to do that. And then we submitted not even knowing whether or not we were going to end up on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So because they could reject your record or they could
Right.
move it into another category and
Mm-hmm.
all the rest of that stuff. So we just believe God and we were like, you want to know what? If this is for us, it's for us. So we submitted. Thank God that it ended up on the ballot because in the midst of all that, we were doing the billboard thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we also like I had my first billboard in Times Square and
I saw that. That
11
was
square
dope.
right an
That was dope.
11 or 12
Mm-hmm.
screen billboard in Times Square. Now keep in mind we got all this and didn't even know we were going to be on the ballot. So it
Wow.
just goes to show like you got to walk by faith and not by sight. Like you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So so that was just a crazy experience. It was crazy just to see like some of the politics and stuff like that that go behind even after you submit, because people think like you submit, you cross your fingers, and then that's it. But no, like you got to talk to people.
Oh
You got to make your
yes.
presence known.
Oh yes.
I think I froze.
I know you good. He was good though. But now he really is talking about there's a huge process that goes behind submitting your music to the Grammys for consideration.
I'm
Now
back.
you
I'm
was
back. I'm back.
now you was good. You didn't have to go, but you was good.
Okay,
But
okay, okay. I
now
thought I was froze.
I was just telling those who are watching. I said people don't know it is a process that you got to go through. It's not as simple as just filling out the paperwork, putting your album in an actual physical CD in the mail and mailing it off, and making sure you have your linear notes and all those. It's a whole process. Like I had to do a video. Like I did a video, for your consideration type video. I know you did one of those. I saw that.
Hmm.
People don't know that there's a whole bunch of stuff because there's a lot of people that are jockeying for that category, right?
Yes, sir.
I think I submitted it for like best R&B album. Like nobody know me, right? Nobody at the time I was going by the name Strict Nine, but nobody knew who I was.
Right.
I'm this dude in St. Louis who's a new Grammy pro member. I'm just like, you know what, whatever. I can't with the album. I'm gonna submit it. I don't care.
Hey,
Hey,
hey.
I didn't even make it to the ballot, but you know what I'm saying. So
Oh wow, really?
yeah, oh yeah, it didn't even make it to the
That's what I'm
ballot.
saying. But you see that, and that's what I mean. You see, that goes to my point of imagine that, like
Hmm.
we over here making.
Okay, he got stuck again, but like I said, I didn't make it to the ballot. He made it to the ballot, so that's dope though, because in order to make it to the ballot, you got to have people that's really looking for you and really checking for your music like that. So that speaks volumes to the things that Matt B has done in his career up to this point, and he's gonna do some crazy things later on. Are you
We
good?
got we gonna make it through.
Look, I was just talking to the people about, I said the point is that he made it to the ballot, you know what I'm saying? And where he can get, votes for his album. I didn't even make it that far. It was just like, nope.
Hey, but hey, you keep submitting, and one of those days, like, you never know what'll happen. Like, you feel me?
You
So
never know.
for me, it was just a great honor to, like you said, to even make it onto the ballot, let alone know, like, hey, there's a possibility that within the next 24 or 23 days, or however many days, that I could potentially end up now being addressed as Grammy nominated recording artist Matt B. Like, you feel me? You know how much weight that holds? Like, that's a dream come true. Even if I don't win the Grammy, like, that's a dream. Like, you feel me? And I still think I'm gonna win this Grammy. Like, don't get it twisted.
Don't get it
I'm just saying, like even if I didn't, like, I'm just humbled by the fact that I could even consider myself to be. I could even people would address me that way as Grammy nominated recording artist Matt B. So I'm crossing my fingers, praying up to the Most High, and just believing that this is going to happen for me, because it's written in the stars. And even if it doesn't, like, I'm going to keep grinding until it does. Point blank period. Like, it wouldn't be the first time that I'd have to circle back around and do something, and I feel like things happen in threes. So maybe the first time it doesn't, like, even think about this interview, right? The first time it didn't, the second time it didn't, but now here we are, bro. Like, you feel me?
Here we are getting through it. Even with some of the technical difficulties, but still, we still having a good time. We still getting through it. So that's the main thing, and I'm glad to have you here, brother. But yeah, man. So like I said, I'm hoping that it leads to the Grammy itself, because that would just be so dope. That'll be so dope.
Super dope.
I've seen your grind. I've seen you just like you said, no days off, and I haven't seen you take a day off. You just been pushing and pushing and pushing, and hard work eventually pays off. So it's gonna pay off.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Man, so talk about the whole Priority Records distribution deal. How did that come about?
So once again, I mean, things happen in threes, or at least in my life, things tend to happen in threes. Because, okay, let me try and see how far back I'm gonna go with this. So I was working with B. Cox's cousin. His name is Donnie Scants. Okay, and Donnie was the first, like, heavy hitting producer that I ever worked with here in the States. Shout out to Donnie Scants. Shout out DS3. Like, man, that's my nigga right there. So I flew out to he flew here to Chicago, and then we did our thing. Then I flew out to LA, and then we continued to make records. Then from there, it got put on the table because one of his boys had gotten like an A&R job at Priority. Okay. Am I good?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. All right, cool. Man, this thing be freezing. But one of his boys had just recently got a job at Priority because they had basically relaunched the label. Okay. So he was like, yeah, man, you wanna know what, man? I'm gonna submit. Like, I'm gonna see what happens, see if they want to pick you up. So he submitted. No bueno. Didn't want to make it happen. Like, nah, we good. Woo, woo, woo. All that. Then circle back around, somebody else, I forget who it was, submitted me on some, hey, you wanna know what? Yeah, let me see, Priority is jumping off the ground, whatever. See if I could submit you, see if they want to do something with you. Nope, no bueno again. Then from there, I'm like, you wanna know what? If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. Now, my daughter was about to be born. She is 5 now. So she was about to be born. Just so happens that we were looking for someone who was supposed to be doing like some marketing for us or whatever. So we reach out to him, and he's like, man, I was the one who was doing all the marketing for the Migos. And it just so happens that I work with Priority. So I'm going to submit you, and I'm going to see what happens. And then from there, he did, but he submitted me to the head, being Fuzzy. Then Fuzzy was like, yeah, come on, let's make it happen. I'm like, I swear. So from there, we ended up just doing the distribution, and I'll never forget when I signed that contract, because I signed that contract in the hospital. My wifey had just had our baby, and it was the following day, and she pulled out her laptop because she's a G and she don't take no days off neither. Like, you feel me? Like, hey, she just pushed out a baby, and now we sitting here in the hospital, we going to. right. You feel me? And we go, and I have my music attorney on the phone, and we going over paperwork, deciding whether or not we wanted to sign this contract. And for me, I always thought that it was a good move for me to create my own label. So we had already had the label created ever since I had done that deal in Japan. So what I did was I signed myself to my label. And then from there, I've been signing all my deals through my label.
That's right.
To the other labels. So that way, I'm not locked in with them. They locked in with Vita being the name of the label. That's right. And then from there, I can move how I want to move and do what I want to do. So that's just a power play just to maintain control. But like, just think about that. Like, just think about that for a second. Not only the fact that I signed myself as an artist, and then from there, I've been doing all my deals that way. But also think about the fact that my wifey holding it down like that. Like, think about that, bro. Like, that's crazy, bro.
That's so crazy.
Most females would not do that. Like, you feel me?
So be like, look, I know because I've been there when my wife had kids, and I'm looking at her like, yo, you good? Like, cause
you still alive?
I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it. Like, nah, for her to be like, all right, cool, let's get this stuff done. Like, that's
and the crazy part was they know, like, we're real, like, just not, I won't say secretive, but like we like to keep our business.
Yeah,
so didn't nobody even know that she was pregnant. So like Donnie being the guy that I was telling you about was because she's small. So because she's small, she carries small. So Donnie didn't even know. So he was like, where y'all at? And then she's like, oh, I'm at the hospital. I just had a baby. You did not just have a baby. You're like, he didn't even believe it. You was just in LA like a month ago. You did not, like, he couldn't even believe it. Like, you feel me? So it's just like, we just do our thing, man. Like, you feel me? Like, we ain't letting nothing stop us. We ain't letting nothing stop our grind. We gonna keep pushing. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. And that's just how we move. That's what we do.
Hey, kudos for that, brother. Like, man, I don't know most people who would do that. Most people would say, all right, cool, we need a couple of days. We got the baby. We need to. Nah, y'all push right through. And no days off. That's the mantra.
No days
off. That's right, brother. So, man, you had mentioned that you did a tour earlier. I believe you did a 16-day, 11-city tour. So talk about that experience, man. How did that all even come about, and what was that experience like being on the road?
So that was my first nationwide tour, and for me, it was a dream come true. It helped me grow so much as an artist, as a person, so much, bro. And it's like, it really forced me to just push myself out of my comfort zone, and to be able to just like you gonna learn some shit, like being on the road. And for me, like the back-to-back flights, and just for me, I always had different musicians in every city. So that was something that was just really crazy, because most people would travel with their band, right? But for us, like, it didn't make sense. They were intimate shows, they were smaller shows. It was somewhere between 75 to 100 people, because we had partnered with Sofar to do the tour, which is a really dope, like, what would it be called? Maybe like a company or whatever, which allows musicians to basically like have a stripped back feel for all of their records. They're the ones who are really helping to just facilitate and put everything together. So it was just really fun. And it was fun to be able to just go across the entire country. Some of the things that I learned as an artist, it's just that no matter what, you always just have to put on a good show. You have to make sure you're bringing good energy. You can't be on some, I'm tired. My fans just got to understand. No, what your fans want to see is a phenomenal show. They don't care what it took for you to get there. They don't care about the fact that you didn't eat that day, or that you just hop off a flight, or whatever may have you. And for me, like, landing, because my days will typically go, I'm landing in the morning, right? Then from there, I'm checking into the hotel. And then from there, I go and I'm checking the venue out. And then I'm doing my sound check. And then later on that evening, I do the show. Then after I did the show, since we had back-to-back dates, I'm packing up my shit right after the show, heading straight to the airport, jumping on a flight, sleeping on the plane, waking up in the next city, and doing it all over again. So I don't think people understand that, because they think like there's this beautiful, glamorous type of, oh, you know, they're gonna have fruit
Mm-hmm.
baskets waiting for me inside of the
And
green room and
and
all
ta-
that. And like
and
I
towel
like
doves and chocolate.
right, right.
Yeah, no, it don't work
And
that.
like
No.
you get to that point. But like especially for me, my first nationwide tour, like I already knew what it
Mm.
was. Like it wasn't gonna
Mm-hmm.
be all that. It was gonna be straight roughing it. It was gonna be let's figure this out. Let's do this together. And thank God, like I had my wifey with me. So, you know, once again, she just hold me down through it all. And we made it happen. And I was really super proud of it. And then from there, we went out of that tour and into the holiday cheer tour, which is an
Yeah.
annual tour, which is an
Mm-hmm.
annual tour that I do every year, which is a give back tour for those that are less fortunate. So we're going to hospitals, we're going to orphanages and things of that nature. And it was just a huge blessing for me because last year I got to perform in either the second or third largest parade in the country, and it was
Mm-hmm.
syndicated across the entire United States. So that was my nationwide television debut as a solo artist, and then it also aired in certain parts of Canada. So I mean that was just
Wow.
super dope, and I had my own float. Like, come
Yeah, I
on,
do. I
bro.
saw that. I saw that. I saw you had your own flow. You was on the TV just like,
Now you feel you,
big
hey.
brother.
With like I think it was like 1 million people that turned out for the
Wow.
parade last year. So like for me, like that was just a huge honor for me, and to be able to do
Mm-hmm.
something like that in my own city, bro, like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy. That's and you took my next question, but that's all good though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my
But
bad, my bad.
no, I mean, yeah, that's amazing that you went, and once again, it speaks to your mantra, no days off, right? Because you did the tour, then you jumped right into doing,
A second
the
tour.
holiday cheer tour, So kind of rewind a little bit. Talk about what was your motivation for even starting to do a holiday cheer tour, going into hospitals and doing that type of philanthropy type work.
So for me, I've always been just a really loving, caring person, especially when it comes to those that are less fortunate, and because of my upbringing. Because for me, like I lived in the ghetto, my nigga, like
Mm,
and
mm-hmm. Yeah, you froze on that one too, but look, some of us we know we were raised in the ghetto, and so we figure out ways to deal with the situation that we're in, and then we figure out ways to come up out of it. Shout out to people that are currently facing, situations that, they're kind of dealing with on a day-to-day basis. But yeah,
I
nah,
think I'm
man,
back.
yeah, you are. I was just telling him, I say, a lot of us grew up in the ghetto, and we kind of know like the everyday struggle of what it takes, just to, eat, mayonnaise sandwiches and government
Man,
cheese. Oh, bruh, don't get me started.
man. Right, right. You feel me? So for me, like even though I grew up that way, because like at my family's lowest, like we were living in a 2 bedroom apartment. We have 6 people in our family,
Mm-hmm.
and me and my siblings are sleeping. Our beds are in the dining room. Like you feel me? We didn't even have enough to have our own room on link, all the rest of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No heat in the winter, all that. So I mean, I just like yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So for me, I always knew like if I ever was in a position where I could give back, that's what I was going to do. And even when we were in that situation, I can recall very vividly my mom being like, "You want to know what? We are going to go to nursing homes. We are going to go to other places with those that
Mm.
are less fortunate. God bless you with the ability to be able to sing, and we're going to go and we're going to bring some joy to other people's lives." And I was doing that at like 8, 9, 10 years old with my siblings. So it
Wow.
was already in me. And then I also vividly remember going to the Magnificent Mile Lights parade as a shorty and seeing the performers in that parade, and then to then turn around and come full circle and go from being a shorty looking at the performers to then becoming a featured act in the parade. Like that's God right there, right? So
Man.
so so the holiday cheer tour was always something that I think was just in my heart. And then from there, like, I talked about it with the wifey slash manager, and we decided like it was something that we wanted to do. And then when we saw the impact that it had on the kids that were less fortunate, especially singing to
Mm-hmm.
terminally ill kids who may not even live to see the next year, and just going all around the Midwest, because that's what we did for the first year. So we went to a whole bunch of different hospitals and stuff. We just knew we had to continue to do it. And I know that as my career continues to grow, the holiday cheer tour is just going to get bigger and
Mm.
bigger and bigger and bigger. We're not going
Mm-hmm.
to stop. Like, this is going to go on for probably the next like 20 years.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up, brother. Yeah, kudos to you, man, for just being somebody who has a heart to truly do that. You know, most people just consider, you know, we just, not me, but most people just so concerned with just getting the bag and just blowing it on whatever. You know, it's good to see that you're a person that's out there to have a heart for people and that you want to give back to others and bring joy to others. I don't know if most people kind of find themselves in a situation where they really want to do that for others, but kudos to you, man. So
Thank you.
if you could go back and give your younger self, you know, the person who was getting into the music industry, what would you tell yourself? What would be the advice you would tell your younger self that would be the most impactful? I guess he froze, so I'm gonna have to say that again when he come back, when he come back online. But man, you know, that's amazing, that just to hear somebody who has a heart for people and for kids and want to bring joy into their lives.
No, no,
So,
I heard
oh, you
you. I
did?
heard what you
Bet.
said.
Okay, bet.
So I just couldn't respond. But the advice that I would tell my younger self, for starters, would be, first of all, leave them girls alone. Cause, hey, cause
You
boy,
get caught
hey,
up.
man, that's a distraction, bro. That's a distraction. So I definitely
Distraction.
would say that, and then I would just say, like, just set your goals, continue to hone your craft, understand that patience is a virtue, and that you,
Mm-hmm.
and I still struggle with that at times, but like being patient and realizing that things happen for a reason in the time frame that they're meant to, and just realizing that you're not spinning your wheels when you're working. I mean, I think that to me is some of the most important lessons that I've learned in this music industry. And outside of that, I'll also say, not everybody that smiles in your face is a friend.
There's such a thing as a frenemy. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
feel, hey, real talk.
real
Real
talk.
talk. So you gotta guard your energy. You gotta guard your circle, because there are those who just be hating, and they just want to come
Mm-hmm.
in to seek and destroy what you built, even if you don't have a lot. They just hating on what little you do got, and they'll come and they'll try and tear everything that you got apart just because they ain't got it, or just because they ain't the person who's in that position yet. So
Mm.
watching your energy is just super important, and just not letting, I consider myself to be like water, right? Water
Mm-hmm.
molds and it forms depending on the vessel that it's in. But at the same time, water can be soft and gentle, but water can also create a Grand Canyon.
That's
Like,
right.
you feel me?
That's right.
So it's like, for me, it's like, be like water. Don't, because if you too stiff and if you too rigid, then you can bend and you can break.
Mm. I know. So, in the immortal words of Bruce Lee, right? Be like water, because water allows you to be flexible in a lot of different situations and is able to mold around exactly what it is. And it can create crazy things. You know what I'm saying? Like Matt was talking about, it can create friggin' canyons. It can feed people, well, not feed people, but it can quench thirst, and it can
Right?
use be to destroy. You know what I'm saying? It can give life, it can destroy, you know? So water is a very powerful thing.
Right? Facts. Facts.
Yeah, but glad you're back. So I appreciate y'all watching and tuning in. I'm appreciative of Matt. Every time, you know, something happens, he logs out and logs back in very quickly. So you see, it's a very quick process we go through. But man, it's just been a great time, brother. Glad that we were able to finally do it, because I've been waiting for this
Man.
interview.
Hey.
Waiting for this one.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah. So I was talking to because we got another mutual, not even just Mark Byrd and Charity, right? I know them too, and I know B Cox as well. But Drums and Roses,
Hey. Hey, that's my man's right there.
that's my
That's my
man.
man.
Yeah. And so when he found out, he was like, "You gonna be interviewing who?" Like, that's my dude right there. I was like,
I was just texting him too, cause
are you?
I just built out my whole little studio setup or whatever, my home studio, cause I haven't been able to physically like go in, like, you feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
I took like the past like maybe like month and a half to just really just like redo my entire room. So like I built acoustic panels from scratch. I bought new
Mm-hmm.
speakers, which are behind me. You can see them like right there in the wings, as well as a sub
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Like I built a an audio rack from scratch. So like just all that. Now I'm working on just like bringing my live shows and all the rest of that to the next level, so that when quarantine ends, that I'll be able to just hit the ground running. But I
Mm-hmm.
say that to say I was texting him and I was like, bro, I just built this new studio setup. Bro, I need some motherfucking beats and I need that shit right now.
That's
Because
right.
I'm just gonna be going crazy. And I told him, like,
Mm-hmm.
we'll play some records and then some records I'll keep or whatever. But like, just having fun with it. So definitely shout out Drums and Roses. That's my nigga.
Drums
I've
and
known him for a
Roses.
long time.
That's my dude right there. That's my dude. Drums and Roses. Yeah. Speaking of Drums and Roses, we had talked about that. Maybe you and I talk about that a little bit later, but we had talked about that because we'll talk about that. I'm re-releasing my R&B album. I had sent him a couple tracks, and he heard one, and he was like, "Yo, Matt would kill one of these." I'm like, "Yeah." That's what I'm
Hey.
saying. That's what I'm saying. But
Send it over, man. I'll check it
see,
out. I'll check
see
it
that's
out. I'm all ears.
that's what people don't know is that I do the show and I run this whole thing, but I do produce. That's how I got my start. I started as a producer, and I just figured, there may be people who are better at producing than me. I still love it. I'll still make beats, but ain't too many people who are better than me at doing this right here, this arena.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? So
hey,
people got to operate in their strong suit. But don't get it twisted though. I still bang on the machine. Oh yeah,
hey.
yes sir, yes sir.
You gotta send me some stuff, man. I'd
I'ma
love to
send it.
check it out.
Look,
I would love
look.
to.
I'm like, yo, hold up. Do I got your email? I think I got your email. Yeah,
And I'm gonna text it to you. I can't say it on
text
the
it
air,
to.
man. I might
Nah,
get
it's
too
all
many.
good.
I might get too many too many inquiries that I don't want. But but
Yes,
I'll
sir.
definitely
I'm
text
sure
it
you
to you.
would. Yeah, text it to me. Text it to me, and I'll send you some stuff. But yes, sir, man. So what's next for Matt B, brother?
Well, like I said, I'm working on new music. I'm always working. I'm always grinding. We definitely still doing this holiday cheer tour. It's funny because before we started this interview, I got a big backyard, and my
Mm.
backyard has like ferns or whatever. Like I guess
Mm-hmm.
like they look like Christmas trees. So I was decorating it. I was decorating them because I'm gonna do like a whole live band type of thing inside of the backyard. In the midst of doing that, I ended up like slicing my finger, but did I
Hey,
freeze?
yeah, you did. Go back and say that again. So there's some ferns in the backyard. You're gonna put like a live band in the back.
Yep, putting a live band in the back. We're gonna be doing a live show. I actually ended up in the midst of doing that, slicing my finger open. So hopefully
Dang.
that hopefully that heals. But that's how you gotta do. You gotta hustle, you gotta work. Also
That's right.
working on releasing my album. That's coming out real soon. We already were pushing the singles over the summer. That's my debut US album. It is mixed. It is mastered. It is ready to go, boy. I'm not gonna say the title of it. I'm not
That's
gonna
what's
say the
up.
title of it, but what I will say is that it's coming soon. We definitely gonna be making that announcement of the title, showing
Mm.
everybody the graphic artwork. So be on the lookout for that. Definitely preparing to do another tour for next year. Hopefully, COVID ends and we're able to tour internationally. So I'm really looking
Mm.
forward to that. Um, Working on my second album, my second US album. So the debut US album is dropping in the spring, but we never stop grinding. So we're
That's right.
already in the works. I've been talking to a lot of my producers and all the rest of that stuff. So I'm really excited about that as well. So, which is why I was telling you that if you got something hot for me, bro, definitely send it over
Hey,
because you never know what might happen. Like, you
hey.
feel me? That
Look,
might end up
look,
on the album.
look. He gonna drop an EP. He gonna drop an EP right before the album.
I just might. I just
See,
might. I just might. Hey, you never know. And just
you
like my
never
No
know.
Days Off EP, that No Days Off EP was a visual EP. So we shot all of the music videos in Chicago, which was also just super dope because we
Mm-hmm.
got to show off just the beauty of the city of Chicago, and anybody who has been to the city of Chicago just knows how
Oh,
beautiful the
it's
city
yeah,
is,
Chicago's amazing.
despite the violence and all the rest of that stuff that's been
Right.
happening in the city. Like just the essence and the aura of the city and just the architecture and all that is just a beautiful thing.
See, my experience with Chicago, because I used to work for Verizon, who has
Okay.
a large headquarters in Schaumburg. But
Okay.
that's my major experience with Chicago because
So you was
oh,
in Schaumburg most of the time then. You weren't in the shot.
because I would fly into O'Hare or into
Straight to
Midway,
Schaumburg.
straight to Schaumburg, right
Yep.
down Cicero, and
Hey, okay,
straight
okay,
to
okay. You
Schaumburg.
dropping street names and everything.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Make it feel like I kind of know about Chicago, which I actually don't. But I have a cousin who lives in Chicago, so maybe one day, and I got a homie who live up there, so maybe one day I'll come up to Chicago when this whole COVID thing gets kind of lifted, and you know what I'm saying, I hit you up when I get up there. But maybe me and Drums and Roses will come up there.
Hey, hey, and
That'll
he's
be
from the
dope.
shot, so yeah,
That'll
he's
be
from the
dope.
shot,
So
so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that'll
So
be
that'll
really
be dope.
cool, real cool.
Yeah, man. So any last things you want to say to our audience before we end our time together, brother?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to anybody who's tuned in. Y'all can check me out at Matt B World. That's MATTB World, and that's across all social media platforms. That's Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, and even if y'all super old school, you know we still got the MySpace popping. You feel me? So, so
MySpace is still there.
or you can go to my website at www.mattbworld.com. Definitely step into my world. Stay in tune.
Hey, check out all those videos. Check out Go Hard. Check out No Days Off. Check out Dive. I mean, go back, like check them all out because
Hey,
they
you're
are
right, right.
all
Step into my world and be on the
they
lookout for
all
the album. It's coming soon.
colorblind. Look, colorblind. Like they all super dope. So,
Hey,
so,
hey.
so go. You know, of course I know. Of course I
Hey,
know.
I know you made that. You made that video, boy. That shit was so dope. That
Hey, I
video
know.
compilation that you did, fire,
Fire.
fire.
I thought it was dope too. Thought it was super dope too. But you know, it's a way to recognize artists who are putting in the work that they're doing and to be recognized as well. So man, kudos to you, brother, because woo, you killing the game right now. And if people don't know,
Thank you.
trust me, they're gonna find out.
Oh yeah,
Very
oh
soon.
yeah. But it's my time. It's
Yeah,
my
it's your
time. I
time.
can feel
Yep.
it in my. I can feel it in my spirit. We gonna smash this R&B. We gonna
That's right.
smash it. People, motherfuckers ain't even gonna see what's coming. It's gonna blindside them. But once it does, man, it's over with. So I'm
That's
excited
right.
about it.
That's right. Man, brother, I greatly appreciate you being on the show today, man. It was awesome regardless of whichever technical difficulties we had. It was still an amazing conversation between you and I, brother, and I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, and I can't wait to do this in person.
Oh yeah, man, me either. So that's gonna be dope. It's gonna be so dope. But stick around for just a moment. Stick around for just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of We Create Music TV. Of course, man, I'm your guy, Vaughan, and you can always catch us either live, our master classes. Man, we have a lot of things coming with We Create Music TV, but you can catch us every Monday and every Thursday at 7 p.m. at www.wecreatemusic.tv, where we feature all of our interview segments, our master classes, and just a variety of different content that we provide to the music community. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, right? Because that helps us to rank higher in YouTube. Make sure to like this video as well, and make sure to spread love to all of your music creator buddies about what we are doing here at We Create Music TV. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we are out.